Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today is going to be another day in the life of an NUS student. I'll be doing a bunch of admin for my matriculation today, so I'll probably walk you guys through it at some point, just so you guys won't feel as lost as I did when I started this process. If you're new here, I'm Gaius, a Singaporean matriculating in August 2021 into the National University of Singapore, and I hope this video adds value into your life in some way. The day started when I woke up in the morning and did my short routine, which basically involves getting showered and eating breakfast. Usually I throw in some exercise and journaling, but as I was still feeling sore, I abstained for today, and I also ended up journaling randomly in the middle of my study session. Anyways, I decided to start my day by doing some math. I recently came across a Dr. K video talking about how studying in the morning when your mind is still empty is likely to yield better academic outcomes. If I remember true, I'll put a link in the description to that video. I think it makes sense since distractions are the number one thing that prevents a person from getting into the flow state. If you're wondering what the flow state is, it's basically an optimal state of consciousness where one is able to immerse themselves fully in the task that they are performing. It's commonly described in sports as being in the zone. It's usually in this state that individuals achieve peak performance in any task they are doing. It's also linked to higher levels of joy and fulfillment in life, which obviously means it's a good thing. In general, I think it's good to aim to enter the flow state as often as possible, not just to get more done more effectively, but also for the sake of overall happiness and well-being. I might make a video on this someday. Halfway through my study session, I suddenly decided it was a good idea to journal, so I did. I usually do a bullet journal where I write a highlight for the day, other things I could do, as well as what I'm grateful for. Anyways, you might be asking how and why I'm studying before school has even started. Basically, I actually went on Carousel and found some seniors selling their textbooks for the modules I intend to take in year 1, so I can start preparation in advance. I highly recommend you do this too if you're a student waiting to start school. If you're an NUS student like me, you can search up information about the modules you want to take at nusmods.com. I especially recommend this if you're an NSF, by the way. In my case, I'm actually completely mathematically illiterate, yet I'm seriously considering pursuing an economics major, so I need to brush up on my mathematics. Having gotten a C for H1 Math in JC, I'm not sure if I'll be able to keep up in school. Hopefully preparing in advance will help me keep up. After my study session, I had a quick lunch with my girlfriend while she did the 16 personality types quiz. We read up about personality types and laughed about how accurate it actually turned out to be. If you're interested, you could do the quiz yourself. If I remember, once again, I'll put the link in the description below. My personality type turned out to be an ENTJ, though I was also really close to being an INTJ as well. My girlfriend was an ESFJ, which really surprised me considering how quiet she is. She too, however, was walking the fine line between extroversion and introversion. After lunch, I decided to finally get started on the administrative matters I had to settle before matriculating. I had submitted the photo for my student card literally a day before the deadline, and it caused me significant amounts of stress and anxiety. I never want to go through that again. So I first started by logging into my SingPass and requesting to pay school fees via a CPF loan from my father. This took me a surprisingly long time because I couldn't find any details on the NUS website. In the end, however, all the details I needed were found on the CPF website. I also went ahead and booked my pre-admission medical exam, which cost me $40. A small price to pay for quality education in our capitalist society, I guess. Then I logged into my NUS Outlook email account so that I'll actually stay updated on whatever is happening in school. Here's the timeline for my matriculation into NUS. So as you can see, it's pretty quick with quite a few things happening at once. This is where having a time management system is pretty important. I have a really scuffed video on this topic which I'll probably put somewhere on the screen or at the end of the video for your perusal. If you want a less scuffed option, I highly recommend checking out Ali Abdul's Skillshare class on productivity. I do plan on remaking that video though, so stay tuned. After all the pending administrative matters were dealt with, I quickly started drafting a script for this very video. Then, I prepared for my tuition class later in the evening. I'm part-timing at a tuition centre near my house to earn some pocket money for university. I also teach PSLE and O-level English as well as general paper independently, so feel free to hit me up if you need tuition in these subjects. I started by marking my students' essays. I actually earn more hourly from working at the centre than teaching independently, which is quite an anomaly in this industry since most centres only hire undergraduates so they can grossly underpay them. Luckily, my employers are quite benevolent and treat every tutor with respect. The downside though of teaching a group lesson is the higher workload by virtue of having more assignments to mark. It took me a painful half an hour to finish marking the essays before I could move on to making lesson plans for their class next week. I tend to plan their lesson a week in advance to give myself some breathing room as well as buffer in case suddenly things cropped up which might hinder me from planning an effective lesson. After that, I left the house for the tuition centre where I taught lessons from 6 to 9 pm. It was pretty late by the time I ended, so on my way home, I grabbed myself a McFlurry as a treat for having had a reasonably productive day. Hopefully it doesn't reflect itself on my waistline. With that, I thank you so much for watching my extremely self-indulgent A Day in the Life video. I won't bore you with footage of me eating using my phone and going to bed. If you like this video, do check out my playlist of Day in the Life videos and consider subscribing. I plan to vlog my university life as much as I can so I can look back on it in future. With that, I'll see you guys next week.